For most of us, it's second nature. Driving. Getting behind the wheel is so commonplace, we often forget the responsibility involved. After all, moving a 4,000-pound object at speeds of up to 70 miles per hour can be a risky activity. Each year, more than 40,000 people are killed in motor vehicle crashes, and over 3 million are injured.
Hello? Hi, Joe. How you doing? Good. Okay. Well, did you check the status? All right. What did they say? Great. So we have a date? Good. Hold on. Let me get my calendar. I'm gonna call you back.
We hear a lot about the causes. Driving while intoxicated, speeding, but there's another factor we don't often consider. Probably because it's so commonplace. Driving while distracted. Distracted driving involves any activity that takes a driver's attention away from the road, like talking on the phone, eating, or changing radio stations. Even careful drivers are sometimes distracted. In a recent survey, 62% of drivers admitted to playing with the radio while driving. 57% said they sometimes eat while driving. And 44% said they pick up things on the floor or between the seats. Research indicates that inattention and distractions like these may play a role in 20 to 30% of all motor vehicle crashes. And as the use of cell phones and other electronic devices increases, the risk of distraction also grows. To find out why distracted driving is so risky, we need to look at it mathematically. Say you're traveling 45 miles per hour. If you look down for only 2 seconds, you're driving blind for a distance of 132 feet, almost half the length of a football field. If danger presents itself during those 2 seconds, you have a much lower chance of responding in time. If you weren't distracted, it would take about 170 feet for you to react, hit the brake, and bring the car to a stop. Add on the 132 feet of highway that you traveled blindly, and you can see why stopping in time becomes almost impossible. In this program, we'll talk about some of the common distractions facing drivers, and we'll learn ways to reduce the risk of being distracted on the road, even for an instant. Hey. Yeah, I just loaded the last of it. Yeah, I'm leaving right now, and I'll call you from the road. All right, bye.
Yeah, I'm broken down. I need a tow.
When cell phones were introduced, they gave drivers the opportunity to report crashes or summon help from any location. Today, cell phones have turned out to be a mixed blessing. Research indicates that cell phone use is responsible for a growing number of traffic fatalities each year.
Deliveries, this is Michael. No, I'm already on a run right now.
Most driver distractions are visual, and indeed cell phones present a visual distraction whenever they are being dialed or answered. But cell phone use is made even riskier because of the mental distraction they create.
No, he has to do it. You set me on it, I'm already, whoa.
Talking with someone we cannot see causes us to focus even more intently on the conversation. Our minds are not on the task at hand, driving.
Hang on just a second, let me put you on speaker. I'm already on a run.
Even hands-free, voice-activated phones create the same kind of dangerous mental distraction. Having a phone in the car can be a lifesaver during emergencies, but good judgment is required to use phones safely.
You have 2 new messages. To listen to your messages, press 1.
Most cell phone providers offer voicemail, which can answer calls you receive while driving. Yeah, I need to report an accident.
It's at the corner of...
If you must make a call from the car, perhaps to report a crash or to get directions, stop where it is safe and legal to park. Avoid pulling off to the side of the road, which can be dangerous to you and other drivers. You could also ask a passenger to make the call for you. Don't try to fit a call into a stop at a traffic light. Chances are the call will last longer than you think. In addition, you should always stay focused on your surroundings, even when you're stopped in traffic. Be aware of the local laws in your area concerning cell phones. Some states have restrictions on handheld phones, headsets, and ear clips, and new legislation is constantly being introduced. Cell phones aren't the only devices that can interrupt our concentration. The stereo, air conditioner, speedometer, and other controls can be distractions too. In fact, they're probably the riskiest distractions because they're so commonly used. For instance, adjusting the radio or CD player is a major cause of distracted driving crashes. To minimize the risk, you should be very familiar with the controls in your vehicle and be able to use them without eye contact. Buckle your safety belt and adjust your seat and mirrors before you begin driving. Program your radio to the stations you like so you won't have to adjust the controls while you're driving. Finally, be cautious of new in-vehicle devices, such as navigation systems, laptop computers, and onboard communication systems.
Street address.
I need directions to 155 State.
Although automobile manufacturers are working to create safe devices controlled by touch or voice, many of these features can still be distracting. Remember, anything that takes your eyes or your mind off the road, even for a moment, is a distraction.
Always remember to only enter information when the vehicle is stopped.
Hurry up!
Someone driving aggressively near or around you can obviously be a distraction, especially if you focus on them instead of your driving. The sooner you spot an aggressive driver, the more time you have to get out of the way and avoid danger. Beware of someone who makes frequent lane changes, runs red lights, or tailgates. These are major causes of vehicle crashes and should always be taken seriously. Nothing is more infuriating than someone who recklessly puts other people at risk. But responding to an aggressive driver takes your mind off the road, putting you and your passengers in even greater danger. Difficult as it may be, you need to set aside your own ego when it comes to dealing with aggressive drivers. The best way to respond to aggressive drivers is to get out of their way. Make every effort to let them pass you.
Learn to drive. What is your problem?
Don't make eye contact with aggressive drivers. Attention is what many of them are looking for. Others can become enraged if you give them a mere glance. Ignore gestures and refuse to return them. Don't race with other drivers or challenge them by speeding up or passing them. These actions will endanger not only yourself, but innocent bystanders as well.
Hello, yes. I'd like to report a reckless driver on Route 230.
Reckless driving or aggressive behavior should be reported to the police. Get as much information about the vehicle as you can, such as the make, model, and license number. Stop to call the police, or ask a passenger to call using a mobile phone. By the way, it's much easier to prevent our own driving from becoming aggressive if we follow a few guidelines. Plan ahead by allowing yourself plenty of time to reach your destination while driving the legal speed limit. Avoid listening to music that gets you pumped up. Studies suggest that certain kinds of music can increase the risk of a driver becoming aggressive. Use a map or suggestions from friends to find shortcuts that are less congested. If all else fails, just relax and accept that you're going to be late.
honey, this isn't gonna work. This is dangerous.
Anyone who has traveled in a vehicle with a child or infant knows how quickly a distraction can develop. Taking a few simple precautions will make the ride safer for you and your young passengers.
We can take the balloon to the park with us tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm gonna put the car seat in.
Okay.
First and foremost, all children should be properly restrained in the correct child safety seat, according to age or with a safety belt. Not only is an unrestrained passenger at great risk in the event of a crash, but children climbing or crawling near the driver can create a serious distraction. For the same reason, pets should also be restrained in the back seat of a vehicle, either in a pet carrier or in a specially designed pet restraint system. All children aged 12 and under should ride in the back seat of a vehicle. This is the safest place for small passengers. Make small children and infants as comfortable as possible by attaching a sun shield to the window and by placing a pillow or neck roll around the infant's head. If possible, have an adult sit in the back seat to watch and occupy the child.
Here's your bunny.
Plan ahead to keep babies and small children entertained by giving them toys with no small parts or choking hazards.
You all ready?
Don't turn around to look in the back seat while you're driving, even if a child cries. Keep your focus on the road. You can calm crying spells by playing children's music on the stereo. If necessary, park in a safe place and take a few moments to reassure the child.
We're almost there, honey.
Remember that riding can be uncomfortable and frustrating for kids. With a little forethought, most pint-sized distractions can be solved or prevented. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, drowsiness is a primary causal factor in at least 100,000 motor vehicle crashes each year. While not a distraction in itself, being drowsy can take your attention away from potential hazards on the road. To reduce the risk, it's important to recognize when you are fighting sleep and to know what to do if you are too sleepy to drive. Those most at risk for drowsy-related crashes are young people, especially young men and shift workers driving home late at night or early in the morning. However, anyone can become drowsy on the road, especially between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m., when most drowsy-related crashes occur. Obviously, the best way to prevent drowsiness on the road is to get enough sleep ahead of time, especially before long drives. Avoid drinking alcohol or taking any sedating medications before driving. Try not to drive between midnight and 6 a.m. and avoid driving well into the period when you are usually asleep. Instead, use public transportation or ride with someone who is well rested. To recognize drowsiness in yourself or others, watch for drifting across lanes or near the shoulder of the road. Having trouble following a conversation or keeping a train of thought. Seeing shadows or glowing lights, or mistaking an object for something it is not. And especially, nodding off or forgetting what has happened during the last few minutes. If you feel drowsy, stop driving as soon as possible. Find a motel or a safe rest area and sleep as long as you can. Give yourself a few minutes to wake up before getting back on the road. Caffeine can also help. 2 cups of brewed coffee will improve alertness for 30 to 60 minutes. You can also do some light exercises or snack on high-energy foods like soft drinks or candy bars. These are only short-term solutions, giving you enough energy to find a motel or call a ride. Nothing is a substitute for adequate sleep. Business travel can create its own set of distractions. Business travelers often have to drive unfamiliar rental cars on strange roads. In addition, they can be rushed, overworked, or stressed out. As a business traveler, you should be extra cautious of potential distractions. Look over your itinerary and intended route before getting started. Keep a map and phone numbers in a convenient place. If you rent a vehicle, take time to familiarize yourself with the controls. Be conservative when braking and steering, allowing extra time for differences between the rental vehicle and your own. Allow extra time to get to a meeting, especially if the route is unfamiliar. Work-related stress and driving are not a good combination. Relax by listening to soothing music. Not only will these steps reduce the risk of a distracted driving crash, they'll also make business trips go more smoothly.
So excited about this trip. I hope we didn't forget anything.
Family vacations are exciting and often involve eye-catching scenery in unfamiliar areas. All of these factors can take a driver's attention away from the road. Before leaving home, designate 1 or 2 drivers for the trip. All drivers should thoroughly familiarize themselves with the destination spot, as well as the best way to get there. Look over maps and other guide materials before the trip begins. Learn the basic layout of the roads at the destination, as well as specific areas you might want to visit.
I got the number for the babysitter in the hotel. I'm putting it in the glove compartment.
That's a good idea.
Keep maps, phone numbers for local agencies such as the tourism office, and other resources in the glove compartment or other handy spot.
Let's check in, and I'm going to sleep for an hour or 2, and then we'll start exploring the city.
Yeah, I'm
Okay?
tired.
Sure.
Once you arrive at your destination, rest before you get behind the wheel again, especially if your drive was long. While sightseeing, take advantage of scenic stops. Park at historic sites and attractions instead of trying to see them from the road while driving. Be especially cautious of breathtaking scenery, such as the ocean, mountains, or natural landmarks. Keep in mind that other drivers may be distracted too. Don't let the excitement of the trip overshadow your responsibility as a driver. Others will be counting on you to make the trip safe as well as fun. Passengers can also help by making sure the driver is not distracted and by offering help when needed. In large cities, foreign countries, and other places where roads and traffic patterns are unfamiliar, consider using public transportation, such as cabs, trains, and buses. As drivers, we can never underestimate the responsibility of operating a vehicle. As we've seen, being distracted while driving is a very dangerous proposition. By using common sense and developing the habit of staying alert and focused, we can greatly decrease the possibility of injuring ourselves or others by being a distracted driver.